Everyone, it is Tuesday, January 10th. We are back with the Plant-Based Morning Show every day, 11 a.m. Eastern, brought to you by Compliment. I'm going to be bringing Doug in here in just a minute, although he's appears to be frustrated in the behind-the-scenes camera. Doesn't look like he will be joining us right away. The good thing is I'm in a fantastic mood. Slept extremely well. One of my top 5 sleeps maybe of the past decade, perhaps, where I just didn't move the whole night. And it was thanks in part, maybe entirely, to a tip from listener John, who sent me this gem about eating lettuce before bed. So I'll get into that in a minute if Doug can get his feet under him here and join the live. In the meantime, other than that, we got a packed show. We have the weather report. There's bunch of things that are just happening. It's just it's one of those days where it was quite easy to plan the show. All right, Doug is literally not joining us or making any effort, it appears, which leaves me unable to do anything. So what I will do is, let's see, I can direct you. I was going to do this in more of a joking manner. I can direct you to the Rich Roll podcast where Seth Godin was interviewed this past week, or he's this week's guest. It's a really good episode, and of course, the reason I'm mentioning it is because at the very beginning, Rich gave me credit for introducing the two of them and pushing for this podcast to happen. So that's the main reason why I bring it up. But really, it is a good episode. I've listened to about maybe 3/4 of it. But Seth Godin is fantastic. I don't think a lot of people in this audience really know Seth that well, just because he's in the marketing world. But really, he's so much more than a marketer to me. So anyway, check that out if you'd like. All right, we got nothing from Doug, and I don't know what to do. Doug, if you can send me some sort of message and give me a heads up here, that would be wonderful. Just a little bit of an update. Otherwise, we could always have to maybe come back. Let's see. Anyone want to chime in with anything to kind of keep this thing moving? Okay, I got some more fun trivia. Yesterday we jokingly, I forget what the article was or what we were talking about, but we said something about, I think Doug asked, do you think anyone from the White House is listening? And I think I made some joke about like that they're always, listening to everything. And then we moved on. But then someone messaged us, and I'm not going to mention her name here, but she said she does in fact work at the White House, listens every day. And I got a very good kick out of that one. Okay, so let's see. The other thing I wanted to mention in the intro today was cashew meat. 2 different people, one of which is my mom. The other one is Bianca, loyal listener, sent me a Veg News, I guess a post that they did about a cashew meat promotion, that they're some sort of offer to buy cashew meat for a good price. But the news, of course, is that it's cashew meat, that someone's making cashew meat. And this isn't cashew meat like I've always known the meats of the nuts, or the main part of the nut is called the cashew meat. This is not that. There's a cashew fruit that the nut actually is the seed of, I think. And this is what they're now making vegan meat out of. So it's a vegan meat, as Bianca pointed out, that I could actually eat on this January No Vegan Meats challenge that I'm doing. Hey, there we go.
Success.
Doug decided to join the show today. He's hopping in. He's going to do a little guest spot on the Plant-Based Morning Show, it looks like. What's up, Doug?
Hey, how's it going? Sorry about that. I was all set up and ready to go, and then all of a sudden Instagram logged me out as soon as you went live. And
okay.
I was having a lot of trouble finding any passwords to get back in. So I'm here now, and you're blurry. Or not blurry, you're spinning around. So I don't know if anyone can hear me.
Yep, we can hear you. I just had to make an adjustment. I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb mode, which is always good practice, so that I don't get a million.
Yeah. So I'm here. Sorry about that, everybody. Thanks for being patient. Dude, spoiler, you didn't, or not spoiler. Big news. Didn't know we had a White House listener.
I know. Isn't that cool?
That's funny. That is really funny. That's a good story.
It is. I didn't know how to feel. At first I thought it was funny, and then I was like, wow, maybe this show really is reaching a lot of people. We know exactly how many people it reaches, and it's like 1,000 a day download the podcast. So it's not like it's a world domination situation happening in every corner of the globe. There are Plant-Based Morning Show. I think it's just a funny coincidence that happened to be a White House person. So that's cool. Bigger news though, Doug, is my mention on the Rich Roll podcast. Let's not forget to go back to that one. It's just validation for me. It reminds me that despite the goofy yellow hair and the content of this show, which often makes me wonder what I'm doing with my career, I get that, and I think, you know what? I'm still a relevant human being in this world, in the plant-based world. I got mentioned on this show. It's just a quick.
There you go. Well, congratulations on that. That's good.
Thank you. It's all about me.
It's all about you. So cashew
you
meat, you were going in on the cashew meat stuff.
Yeah. So I appreciate when people send us stuff, by the way. So feel free anytime, send us stuff. Steven tagged us on something today, which have been planning to get into. He sent me something yesterday. Bianca's often sending us stuff. So it's much appreciated. It really does make the planning easier. As I have said, the planning occupies a decent amount of time each morning, in the 1 to 2 hour range typically. So when people tag and alert me of stuff, they just tag Plant-Based Morning Show on Twitter. It's very helpful. Helps just streamline that, and we find the stuff people want to hear. So thank you for that. The cashew meat is basically, I found there was a Veg News article about this, like, I don't know, a year ago, maybe more, about this Hawaiian couple that's making vegan meat from cashews. It's called Caju Love, Caju with an accent over the U. They're getting the fruit of the cashew, the actual fruit that grows around the seed, which is the nut that we know, or that we eat. They're using that meat, and then, they dehydrate it or whatever, and they make that into a vegan meat, which apparently cooks, they say, like chicken, pork, tuna, ground meat. So I've never tried this. This would fit in my no vegan meat January, because I figured as long as it's made from Whole Foods, I'm good with it. I actually had a fig sausage.
Are there products here, or is it just you take the cashew meat, you somehow find the cashews?
The company is selling products. Yes.
Okay. The company, there is a company selling products.
Yes. It's Caju Love. And maybe Caju is pronounced cashew. I don't really know. I'm just sort of
cashew.
There you go. So I'm just sort of guessing there. I don't know what they actually, they show the meat in a little package, and I don't know what, if they, it'd be nice if they were putting out, packaged foods that are already ready. I don't need to do anything with it, but that wouldn't be quite the same. So, I don't know. I'd like to try it. I'm curious. Yeah. Anything healthy. And, you can imagine like dried apples, for example, that has kind of a meaty texture. So if you had that in a thicker form and it was fully dried out, that would be chewy like meat is. So I can imagine this being good, as long as it's not sweet like apples are. Jackfruit, I guess they're kind of already doing exactly that. I don't know if they really dehydrate that so much. And someone actually is just asking right now, Mr. Jeffrey says, is the fruit pulp processed, or is it like jackfruit where it's just broken down? I do not know. That's a good question. And I don't know how you get the stuff. I'm not going to go order from the website. So this may be a non-story, but the fact that Veg News is promoting the little offer made me think it's worth hitting on.
Pamela Ferguson, RD,
of course.
She wrote a blog post for us a while ago about why she was making the switch from cashews to, I think it was sunflower seeds.
Right,
I
remember that.
Seeds.
Yep.
And she kind of highlighted some of the issues with cashews and how cashews, the cashews that we eat, everything that has to go through all the processing that has to be done by hand for the most part, and it's really kind of toxic to people who are using, who are opening up the fruit and pulling it out. And I thought that was really interesting. I haven't heard much about that or seen much about it since, but I thought that was kind of interesting. And it actually has impacted me in the way that I eat fewer cashews now because of it.
Okay. And what is so bad about that? Like the fact that the fruit is toxic to people. I mean, I don't know how they're making meat out of the fruit if it's toxic, first of all, but I do remember that, but it didn't have that impact on me. I just thought, oh, interesting. You have to be careful handling that. Is that?
Yeah, I think it was. She was highlighting some human rights issues around how it can like burn your skin. If you and some labor issues around people who are tasked, who are working to break these cashews open for us. I don't know. It's been a while since I've read the email, but that has always stuck with me. Or read the blog post. It's a No Meat Athlete blog post. If you did No Meat Athlete sunflower seed, then you'd be able to find that. And I don't know. I've always thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Not enough reason for me, Doug. Not enough info for me to say I'm going to not eat less.
Yeah,
Eat less
I'm
cashews.
I'm not doing a very good job.
No, because it sounds to me like the cashew industry. This could be a lot of jobs that are created by people who need to get these ready. It's a high labor job thing to get this ready.
Yeah.
As long as it's done in a fair manner, this could be a good thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they do say that part of the deal here, or not the deal, but part of the reason this company exists, they're reducing the waste in the cashew industry, because I guess this fruit is typically just wasted. Probably like coffee fruit, I think, is also usually wasted. So in that way, they're kind of doing a good thing. Food waste or whatever. Good thing.
Yeah.
All right. Rachel Dom, I think maybe is how you pronounce it. She has chimed in, says she's been an NMA listener since she was a freshman in high school and now a senior in college. So that's coming up on 8 years, which is awesome. And congratulations,
cool.
Rachel, for almost being done college.
Yeah.
Okay. What else, Doug? Anything else before we jump into the stuff?
I've got kind of a hot take here.
Okay. What do you have?
I think the broccolini is the best vegetable.
Broccolini, not broccoli raw, but broccolini.
Broccolini. Yep.
Okay. And what's the reason? I kind of agree. I mean, I don't know if it's the best, but I like it. What's the rationale?
So we have a dish that we cook pretty regularly, maybe once a week, once every other week, which is just a pasta dish with beans and broccolini and a bunch of seasoning and like a oil or white wine sauce. Very simple, very easy. But the broccolini is definitely the star of the show, and I look forward to that dish more than anything else. That broccolini just hits home every time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I was eating it last night, and I was thinking to myself, this might be my favorite vegetable. I never would have said that before, but I think it is.
I mean, it's a great vegetable. I'm with you. Like I said yesterday, we always make these pasta dishes that have a vegetable, and it recently has been broccolini. Broccoli rabe is probably higher on my list. It's much more bitter tasting. The kids don't really like it.
Okay.
But broccolini is fantastic. I think broccolini is a big improvement over regular broccoli for sure, except it is more expensive. But
it is definitely more expensive. Yeah.
I'm with you. For those who don't know, broccolini is like just longer stems. I think it means baby broccoli, but they're longer stems. It's more about the stem, a little less about the floret. And yeah, it's a good one. This is a very hot take, though. That is a controversial hot take you just dropped on here. I can't believe you said it on air.
I kind of thought that you would push back a little bit. I don't know why, but it just
I could have tried. Certainly could have found other vegetables that are maybe better if I wanted, but I'm in a good mood today. I said at the beginning I had a fantastic sleep, career best, one of my career best.
I missed that part. As in my panic.
Oh my gosh, it was astounding. I went to bed. I went to bed late. I'll tell you what I did before I went to bed, but in a minute. So I went to bed late, which was part of it. Got in my cocoon around 11 o'clock, shut my eyes, and I didn't wake up till it must have been 6:30. And it was amazing. Wow. And it was just, I was in the same position. I didn't turn over, nothing, which unheard of for me. It happens like once a year. So it was fantastic. Remember I said yesterday that John, one of our listeners, had been having the same sleep issues as me. And he said that this lettuce thing, because it contains some compound, I forget what it's called, that was working for him, but he stopped because of the price of romaine lettuce. Well, I yesterday after soccer practice picked up some romaine lettuce heads because I had corroborated this with some of Dr. Greger's research, and I said, got to try this. I Googled and I said, I'm trying to find like, when do you need to eat the lettuce? Do I need to have it with a dinner salad? Or, does it have to be way later if I'm trying to prevent, a 2 a.m. wake up? Do I need to eat it last thing before bed? And so I found apparently there was a TikTok craze, maybe is still, about lettuce water, where you basically make tea out of the lettuce leaves. You put essentially a whole head of lettuce. Romaine is a good one. You put it in boiling water. You make a tea, 5 minutes or whatever, wilt the lettuce. Someone said add the peppermint tea, and I'm glad I did that. You just put a peppermint tea bag in the mix to give it some flavor that isn't lettuce. And apparently people say, that to get 10 and 12 hours sleeps from this amazing tea. So I did that around 9:30, and I don't know. It's hard to imagine it's coincidence. It's possible. Yeah. But it's just such a rare event that I don't know. So anyway, I have ordered some. I'm not going to go through that whole routine every night. So I went ahead and ordered some extract. And I'll probably try to eat romaine lettuce around dinner time too. I just can't. I don't know how to consume lettuce that late.
A whole head of romaine lettuce can only get you 1 cup of tea.
Well, it could give you a lot more if you wanted. I just don't. And in fact, I did save some of it, so I don't know. Maybe you can make this last longer. I wasn't sure what to do because some like doctor nutrition type had online had said you can't possibly get enough of this stuff out of just one head of lettuce. So then I said I'm going to go to the extract route and I'm going to try to eat lettuce, but as far as my sleep aid, I'm going to use this. So we'll see. It's interesting. I mean, definitely encouraging. I'm over the moon excited. I even had an extra half cup of coffee today. I was just so excited that I just made another half cup.
I love it.
Good vibes. Yeah. So that's why I'm not fighting on broccolini, and I'm not going to fight on anything. I'm not curmudgeonly when I sleep well.
Wow.
I think that has gradually.
It turns out you're just as chipper as I am, or joyful as I am. You just are tired all the time.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's very possible.
There's some funny comments here. Kate0338 thinks it must have been the hair that had you sleep so well. Mr. Jeffrey says that he's just envisioning you sipping your romaine tea in your cocoon, and I gotta say that's pretty funny. And then Ike DePalm suggests that maybe romaine tea should be Complement's 2023 launch product.
Hey, there we go. Natural sleep aid.
Yeah, there you go.
Good idea. And also, I see that Rachel is volunteering to come on to join the live, which would be wonderful. At some point, whenever you want, Rachel. If you've got a take on something, you're welcome to whatever it's called. Raise your hand, request, whatever. We'll bring it up for a minute or two. Not for the whole rest of the show, but I want people to do that. I think it would be great. It will create an editing nightmare for me to try to start splicing those things all together, but it's worth it. I'd be happy to do it. And we also need people to help read the weather reports. I think it would be fun if we had a couple different people who want to read. Let's see. All right, Rachel's requesting, so I'm just going to do it because people we always want.
All right.
All right, Rachel incoming. If it actually works. Hey, there she is. How's it going, Rachel?
Hey, Rachel.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for volunteering. You're like one of the first ones ever to actually randomly just volunteer, despite lots and lots of cajoling from us. Yeah. So what do you got? You got any thoughts on lettuce tea or sleep or cashew meat or anything, or me being mentioned in the Mr. Roll podcast? What? Anything you'd like to chime in on?
Okay. Get out of here. Cut her out.
All forms of potatoes, or just
Wow. In no form, like not even French fry or tater tot form. Oh my gosh! Get out of here.
Okay, interesting. I don't like sweet potatoes, so I'm not with you there. I don't know. Potatoes, they're okay. I'm not a huge potato fan until they're like processed in different forms and made into fries or gnocchi or something. Just straight up potatoes, I could take or leave. It's an easy food. It's cheap. It's healthy, but
that is a hot take. And it kind of will segment well into one of the articles that we had where potatoes get a thumbs down on some of the health diets. So maybe you're onto something, but I don't know. I don't agree. Nice.
Wow, good for you. All right, what's the name of your product?
Awesome.
And then we'll talk later. What's it called? There you go. We know how those supply chain issues feel. Q1 last year, not good for us. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Rachel. Appreciate it. We'll be in touch about all that stuff. And thanks again for hopping on here. All right.
See ya.
I still don't know how to make people leave, Doug. So I'm glad that Rachel was willing to go when it was time. If someone just said they're not leaving, I wouldn't have anything I could do except for end the whole live.
Oh,
I
well,
don't
that's
know.
not good.
I'm sure I could just Google that and get the answer. But anyway, good for Rachel.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Amazing. Young entrepreneur, age 22. That's fantastic.
And that is a pretty hot take. That I think she's made some enemies here in the in the comments. Lots of potato lovers, and I'm right there with you.
You know what? That's a good hot take. That's a better hot take than broccolini, Doug. To be honest,
it is. It is
it's
definitely
hotter
more
take.
interesting. It's a much more interesting take than broccolini. You're right. I was maybe a stretch for me to call that a hot take.
No, I appreciate that. We need more built up drama, even when fake. Steven says, "I think we found a weather girl." I mean, that'd be fantastic. We need weather readers. Steven has volunteered. I'd love to have some Irish accent weather reading at some points. He's got all the European connection too, so he'll be closer to the where the real action's happening than we are. But anyway, yes. So looking forward to talking more with Rachel. Awesome. Okay. So anything else? Oh, I've got a quick redaction before we move on. Yesterday, I stated that the No Meat Athlete Cookbook was on sale or going to be on sale in the Kindle store for $3.99 for like a week. I wrote to my publisher and said, "What's the deal? It's still not that price on Amazon." And she said, "Sorry, bad information. It's actually only on sale one day, January 29th. So just hold your horses there.
Okay.
I'll remind you January 29th, 19 days from now, that it's time to go buy that book for $3.99.
All right. I was thinking in the notes here it says anime cookbook redaction. I was thinking maybe you there was a recipe in there that you were gonna that you cooked last night and you wanted to take it out or something.
No such thing. Okay, so here's the weather report, which I have carefully put together this morning. By the way, I like the weather reports because it lets us have just a couple good articles to talk about, and we don't have to kind of talk about 100 things. So I'm into it. So here we go. Plant-based dishes will be the primary dinner option at 11 medical facilities run by NYC Health and Hospitals. Officials announced Monday. We've been talking about this, Doug, about the New York City, push to get more and more plant-based meals, make them the default. They are now the primary option. They're inspired by the flavors of Latin America, Asia, and other places that represent the system's diverse patient population. Mayor Eric Adams, who follows a largely plant-based diet, although he did admit he eats a little bit of fish, so we can't quite call him vegan, but certainly we can call him plant-based. He applauded the news, of course. Some of their dishes, by the way: garden bolognese, pad thai, noodle bowl, Moroccan root vegetable tagine, burrito bowl, Spanish paella. That's enough to make me want to go to the hospital, Doug.
I heard burrito and I was there, man. I was packing my bags.
Get in an accident or something, some fake hospital thing. In other news, Emirates Airline recorded a significant uptake in the number of plant-based meals. They're reporting a 154% increase in vegan meal requests on flights last year over the year before that. That includes 280,000 plant-based meals and 195,000 vegan desserts. They have over 180 plant-based recipes in their rotation, so that is definitely a go-to airline if you're plant-based and have $3,000 to spend on your flight, because I've never even considered flying Emirates because I've never seen a price for like $195 like I'm always looking for. Over in Singapore, in the cultivated meat world, where cultivated meat is legal and happening, Huber's Butchery is the first butcher shop in the world to offer cultivated meat, which of course is real meat grown from animal cells. This is from Veg News, by the way. The Singapore-based shop offers this local brand Good Meat, capital GOOD, all caps, which is the cultivated meat arm of Eat Just, the company that makes Doug's favorite Just Egg product. So their hat is in the ring over there in Singapore in this butcher shop. Wow. And finally, big legal changes driven by Kellogg, the food company that I think is often vilified in our vegan world, maybe because of, I forget, somehow they're responsible for all the salt, sugar, fat stuff that everybody's addicted to. Probably not fair to say that in the weather report, but that's what I've heard. But anyway, they have petitioned for 3 years to get the FDA to increase the fortification levels of vitamin D that are allowed in the cereal category so that they can put more vitamin D in, and that includes their grain-based bars or grain-based bars in general. So that is going to be happen. The FDA has announced they are amending the food additive regulations to provide for the safe use of vitamin D3. Keep in mind, vitamin D3 has like a tolerable upper limit because it will accumulate in your system. So you don't want to get too much of it. I think Greger suggests around 2,000 IU, which is the amount that's in Complement or Complement Essential. But anyway, they're now going to allow up to 560 IU of vitamin D3, which is a good one, good vegan source, and absorbable per 100 grams of cereal, and up to 400 IU per 100 grams in grain-based bars. So that's, I think that's good news. I mean, I think, fortifying with
any
stuff.
Any idea why they're pushing to add more vitamin in there?
I think they're just trying to do the health thing. I think that's going to allow them to make more health claims about their product. I just skimmed where I saw this, so I think that's the answer, but I'm not really positive.
Interesting.
Could be some other conspiracy, them trying to ruin something else.
Yeah, it probably means that they. I don't know. I'm not going to make it up.
Okay. Yeah, I really do think Kellogg's is somehow. I don't know what the details are, but somehow they split with some other cereal company, and that book Salt, Sugar, Fat. I think he details some of how this happened, and who knows. So anyway, that is your weather report. No change in the Amazon top 5 in vegan cooking, so no reason to get into that again. But that is that.
Cool.
All right, so on to stories. Steven sent me this one just shortly after I had seen it this morning. In fact, he tagged me in Plant Based News' Instagram post.
Ooh.
Yes, and the headline here from Plant Based News is London Dungeon apologizes after banning vegans for January. So take some detective work to sort of figure out what this headline means, because at first glance it was like, what London as a dungeon? That seems like a bigger story than the banning of vegans.
Of course, London has a dungeon,
but it's a tourist attraction, and they don't really say what. I suppose I could have Googled and found that out. I just think it was a restaurant or something. It seems to be themed with Sweeney Todd, which is of course that musical. Andy Bernard is in The Office is in a Sweeney Todd. They do a Sweeney Todd play. But Mrs. Lovett, fictional character, she makes these meat pies apparently that are like suspicious meat pies. So I think maybe they have humans in them in the fictional story. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
But anyway, it was this big thing. And around when Veganuary was ready to happen, they said they made the Banuary. Their official thing was let's see. So we've decided. This Veganuary, the London Dungeon has decided to stand behind our Mrs. Lovett and her iconic but somewhat suspicious meat pies. If she doesn't do vegan, neither will we. So we decided to not only ignore Veganuary, but launch our very own version, denying entry to any vegan visitor who tries to darken our dungeon. And the best bit, no need for additional security to help identify the veggie lovers, as we know they will most likely mention it within minutes of stepping foot into the attraction.
The oldest vegan joke in the book.
I like that one. Recently I heard a variation of that. Someone asked me, how do you know it was like, what do this person and a vegan have in common? And the answer was, and it was a guy from Texas I met him in Germany. And he said, that's one of those things, right? They say, what do vegans and Texans have in common that within 5 minutes you'll know? And I have a pretty good joke. I like that. So anyway, London Dungeons, I think, just having some fun here. But they upset PETA, of course, and other vegans, and they weren't actually banning vegans. They really weren't not allowing vegans in.
Right.
I guess it would have made you a little uncomfortable to go there, though.
Yeah. If they're chopping up people and putting them in the soup and they're telling you can't be vegan, then yeah, I mean, of course.
right. So Steven, as I mentioned, Steven being closer to the where the epicenter of all this news, he says it's a chain around Europe with live actors, scary but family friendly, goes into the city's dark history stories. Okay, good. So is it a restaurant too, Steven, or is it just like a haunted house kind of deal? That I'd like to know.
I just Googled it. It looks more like a haunted house type of deal.
Okay.
So here's the thing that they should have realized is in the United Kingdom, vegans are a protected group. And so you can't you can't joke about banning a protected group. Of course, people are going to get upset and you're going to have to turn that around. So I think honestly, I think it's kind of funny and it wouldn't offend me, but I can see why they had to reverse their, remove the joke.
I don't feel like I should be a protected group for being vegan. It's just, I'm just doing it because I want to. It's not like I have to, or it's like I was born this way.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I mean,
Are we deserving of these protections?
well, so this we've talked about this before, and I feel
I
like
know.
you were tooting a different horn at the time.
What was I saying before? I mean, I'm
I
not
don't know. I feel
surprised.
like you were. Man, one night of sleep and you're a totally different man.
It's a mistake.
It's crazy. I'm trying to remember what was happening. I think it was
It was probably the prison, the guy in prison who
certainly the
didn't,
prison thing. Yeah.
right. And I think I probably said yes, they should give you that because it's a philosophical kind of thing and it's a belief system. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm deserving of protections.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I take zero offense to this London Dungeon thing.
But I understand. I get it. I do get why Peter's upset. I get why some people think it should be protected, and why, like you said, if it is protected, you're going to upset people when you joke around about it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Whole Health Experience says that this is why people think of it as a religion, and
which isn't good, by the way. I don't think it's not a good thing for this. If we're trying to say this is a diet, right, a healthy way to live, let's not make it seem like a religion, because then people don't want to be part of it.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. It's a lifestyle, baby.
That's right. It's a lifestyle. All right, so that is London Dungeon. I'm gonna have to check one of those out. So I'm guessing they don't always do Sweeney Todd. I'm guessing Sweeney Todd is just they just did that. Maybe this one. I don't know.
I kind of think I've been to one of these.
Really?
Yeah. When I was a kid in London. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I believe it. I definitely went to something like this.
And now you're persona non grata. No longer welcome.
That's right. I would walk in. There's probably pictures of our face, and considering we're the two most popular vegans or most well-known vegans in the world.
Of course, right. Mm-hmm. That's us. All right. Moving on to actual diets, non-religious, nothing like that. This is from CNN.com. Mainstream coverage, always good. Here's how to eat to live longer. New study says. I mentioned yesterday an article that was from the JAMA JAMA journal. I didn't ever bother to look up what that acronym stood for, but it's a legit journal because that was the stuff about the pregnancy adverse outcomes and how you might reduce that with a plant-based diet, or no, a Mediterranean diet. Well, this is also published there, and the idea here is that you can reduce your risk of early death for any reason by nearly 20% just by eating more foods from your choice of 4 healthy eating patterns. And all of these patterns share a focus on consuming more whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and legumes. And the people who followed them carefully were less likely to die from cancer, cardiovascular illness, and respiratory and neurodegenerative disease. So those are obviously some of the big killers. So I think you can easily extend that to all. Well, you can see how all-cause early death stuff would be reduced if those 4 are part of it. So the question then is, what are these 4 diets? And it's surprisingly hard to figure that out from this article.
I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I even clicked the study and looked around. Okay, here's a quote from let's see, Dr. Frank Hugh from the Harvard Chan School of Public Health. And he says, for example, if you're eating a healthy Mediterranean and after a few months you want to try something different, you can switch to a DASH diet, which is dietary approaches to stop hypertension diet. Or you can switch to a semi-vegetarian diet. So he mentions those 3. Oh, and then finally he says, or you can follow U.S. dietary guidelines and create your own healthy eating plate. So, I mean, so that's one glimpse of what these things might be.
And then further down in the article, he said, so they talk about one is the Mediterranean diet. So we know that one for sure.
Yes, that's in.
And then the next is called a healthful plant-based diet. A healthful plant-based diet, which also focuses on eating more plant products, but gives negative points for all animal products and any alcohol. So that's an alcohol-free and an animal product-free, or at least negative points for those things.
Right. So that may be the semi-vegetarian one he mentioned above, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, but then it starts with Mediterranean, then it goes into the next one, and then it falls off, and I couldn't figure out what the other ones were.
Right. You think he's going to give you the next and the next, but that's it. He just cuts you off at 2 there. So you got to imagine DASH is one of them, because he said that earlier. And then maybe just to make your own out of the choose your own adventure out of the U.S. dietary guidelines, as long as you actually do follow those guidelines, which probably pretty closely match Mediterranean if you actually follow them. I don't know. So, like I said, not totally clear what that is, but to me, it fits this story of what I think is the big trend of the year, Doug. The flexitarian Mediterranean, you
Right.
eat way less animal products, but you don't have to restrict yourself 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And keep it whole foods. It doesn't mean you can eat vegan junk food. Blue Zones was maybe a nice example that I often like to cite. I mean, this is good. This to me is great news. Way better news than vegans getting a small victory by allowing ourselves back into the London dungeon. So I like this. This is wonderful.
I did want to call out this. Hugh says it even discourages relatively healthy options like fish or some dairy products. Hold on, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, he's talking about the plant-based diet. When he talks
The
about
plant-based
that,
diet.
he says,
and then he says, and the plan frowns on unhealthy plant-based foods like potato products.
Okay, I didn't see that part. Now it makes sense why you said that.
Yeah, he's frowning on those potatoes, man. Everybody's hating on the potatoes today. I don't get it.
I think people think because they're white, they are processed. I really think it's like white flour, and people just get confused. Even Hugh.
Hugh, who's an expert in this. Tricked by the white color. I get it, but
yeah. I mean, maybe I'm sure there's something to this about potatoes. I don't know, glycemic index stuff, perhaps, and especially because when you eat French fries, obviously that's not good, and chips aren't good. I don't know, but whole potatoes, I don't know. I don't see what's wrong with it.
You know what? And just to I'm gonna have for dinner tonight? I'm gonna have baked potatoes with broccolini on them, and that's it.
Oh yeah,
and it's gonna be delicious.
Just like you were gonna have mustard or mushroom grilled.
Yeah,
over the weekend.
I know. Here's the problem with the mushrooms. This is gonna be a real hindrance to my year of the mushroom.
Okay.
Katie doesn't like mushrooms, so if I eat mushrooms, it has to be like me separate. Like it can't be part of the meal. And so I'm trying fairly aggressively to incorporate more mushrooms, or especially when we're all out, I'm seeking out, or like we're going out to dinner, I'm seeking out mushrooms. But it's hard for me to like justify grilling up a bunch of mushrooms.
If you're making a true bid for food of the year or whatever you're going for with mushrooms, you need to get people who don't like mushrooms to start eating mushrooms. It's not about how do you get more mushrooms into your mouth. It's how do you get people around you to try mushrooms and like them. So you need to come up with good ways, like this grilled thing where they probably don't seem that much like mushrooms. They probably seem like
very good point.
Yeah, so you need to work on your outreach, I think.
Okay.
If this movement is to have legs.
You know, you're right. Thanks for putting me in my place here. This is good. I'm glad we had this talk.
All right. Anne-Marie says, I'm having a green bean potato salad I made the other day. Gold and red potatoes. Nice. Dale Stevens says, I've had air fried potatoes with broccolini, tomatoes, and seeds like 5 times last week. Yeah, look at this. Broccolini. Who knew everyone was eating broccolini like they are?
Yeah. Great. Dale, invite me over. That sounds great.
Okay. So our last one, Doug, is one I pulled together with something in mind, and then I later realized I kind of missed something. It's from Yahoo Sport, uk.sports.yahoo.com. 25 vegan celebrities who've adopted plant-based eating and have never looked back. So in my haste, I saw 3 women in the picture: Billie Eilish, Alicia Silverstone, and somebody who I don't know who that is. Another woman though, and 25 celebrities who are vegan. Go down the list: Lizzo, Sadie Sink, Pamela Anderson, Ellie Goulding, and I'm thinking, okay, are we going to have a man in here? And no, you don't. It's 25 names, and they're all women, and they're all vegan. I was looking for Woody Harrelson, or are there other ones? I don't know. Are there other male celebrities who are vegan besides Woody Harrelson?
Well, yeah. I mean, one of them, we track his progress on the football field every week.
Oh, that's right. Yep, Justin Fields. We've got our futurevore, James Cameron. So that's at least 3. And then of course there's all the the people. I think I wasn't counting Justin Fields because to me he's one of us. I guess maybe that's the thing. Once they're in our niche, I start thinking they're not big celebrities anymore. But of course he is NFL quarterback. So anyway, my angle here was, what's the deal? Is it not cool, to be vegan for men? Is that still a thing? Because that certainly was a thing 5 or 10 years ago. There was a lot of stuff about it. Just not a masculine way to eat, and it's for women and all this stuff. I looked back just before we started the show, and I saw that at the very top of the article. This is like a shared content from Women's Health UK. So no surprise, it was originally in Women's Health. if I saw this in Women's Health, I would not have batted an eyelash and said, okay, of course they're putting 25 women vegan celebrities. But anyway, I still kind of do wonder because like you don't really see Men's Health doing this article with men, and also 25 would be pretty hard to come up with. So I think it very much is still a thing. I mean, I don't know. So we can go through some of these if you want. I said Lizzo, Sadie Sink, Stranger Things, Pamela Anderson, Peta Star. We all knew that for a while. Ellie Goulding, I think some people know that. I don't know some of these other names. Madeline Pesh, Jenna Dewan, Alicia Silverstone, of course I know. Demi Moore, Ariana Grande. I'm an Ariana Grande fan, Doug, from her early work before she was Ariana Grande. When she made some
You
show.
are or you're not?
Yeah, I am. I like she was, I thought, pretty good on the show that my kids used to watch. Anyone know what that is? I'm sure someone
Are you sure
does.
you're not talking about Miley Cyrus?
Oh yeah, I'm positive.
Okay. I didn't know she was a kid star as well.
Yeah,
I like her.
she's on Sam and she was on Sam and Cat. That was the name of the show.
Okay.
Although it says they I just Googled this. They say she was sexualized and infantilized. So I didn't realize that. Or at least that wasn't my take. I thought she was kind of funny. Yeah, okay. So they're citing some examples of where she was sexualized, but I haven't obviously seen all the episodes, but I thought she was pretty good. So anyway, that's Ariana Grande. Natalie Portman, Ruby Rose, Natalie Emmanuel, Billie Eilish, Rooney Mara, Fern Cotton, Lucy. I mean, we're getting into names. I have no idea what these are, what they do. Thandaway Newton, Bimini Von Bulash. All right, well, this is not good content, me trying to butcher celebrity names here. So that's that. I don't know. I mean, the question still remains for me, Doug. Is vegan still, is it not cool like for male celebrities to be vegan?
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, you don't hear about it as much, but I mean, I feel like that's been the case that's always been the case, right? There's more women that are vegan than there are men. I think that now it's the men that are athletes, right? Like you have it's cool to be a vegan athlete or a vegan bodybuilder or something like that.
Right.
And so within that niche, there's plenty of men who are doing it. But like if you think about just general celebrities, movie stars, whatever, probably fewer of them. I just Googled it, and this is vegan and vegetarian, so this is going to include a lot of vegetarians here. But Travis Barker, Al Gore, Tobey Maguire,
Zac Efron was
Woody Harrelson, Bryan Adams,
back on the cult.
Ricky Martin, Phil Collins, James Cameron, Paul McCartney. I don't know. Yep. There's plenty of big names.
There are. It's just not. It's just, I don't know. It's just maybe they don't make it part of their brand. A lot of them, and not that these women do either. Honestly, most of them. Yeah, I don't know. And then what about just non-celebrities? Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't. I guess when I tell someone out of the blue, I meet someone at an event or something, and I say I'm vegan. Actually, I don't know. I don't think it really matters. I was thinking. I always feel a little bit like, what are they going to think? But it's not really about being a man. It's just about being vegan.
Yeah, I don't feel the stereotype of a man needs to eat meat at all. I'm over that for sure. Yeah.
Aisha, the whole health experience says, so no one cool. This is when you were reading a list of men. Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's not, well, Travis Barker's cool. At least he was. Now that he's with the Kardashians, I don't know about that anymore. It's a little too, not quite punk enough for me. So yeah, I don't know. That's it. That's all we got. No more, you're going to drop any hot takes when it comes to gender stuff?
No.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Stay away from it, right? And Mr. Jeffrey says he doesn't think it should matter if it's a man or woman or the other. It's just great to see strong vegan influences. Unfortunately, when it comes down to men, sure. I don't mean when I'm reading that list like this is a worthless list because there's no men on it. It just made me wonder because there's that thing, and Rip Ellison has been championing the like, hey, like let's. I think he had the real men eat plants. He had that scene from Forks Over Knives when he's climbing the fire pole with just his arms, and he's saying that. And then his book My Beef with Meat was originally called that. He changed the name. I'm not sure why, but he turned it into Plant Strong. I think that was meant to kind of be like a vegan for men book, like just to sort of, embody firefighter, just kind of be an example. And I'm glad we need that. But anyway, just I don't know if there's any progress being made there. Do you know, Doug, like the stats, like what percentage of vegans are men, women, whatever?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
I bet it's. Let's take a guess, and then we're gonna come back tomorrow, having done a little research. What's your guess?
My guess is that it's more men than we think, and I would say it's 40-60. With men being 40.
Yep. I'm gonna guess 70-30. I'm gonna say it's over a third, over 2/3 female.
For years, that was the No Meat Athlete stats. If you would go on Google Analytics and look at it, or maybe it was the Facebook audience, I forget which one, but that's about what the split was. And then I feel like around the Game Changers time, to your point about the athletes, it started to shift and it became more like the 40-60.
Yep.
All right.
Cory Booker. That's a good one.
Booker. Yep. Politician type dude. I think wasn't he like on our podcast or liking our stuff or something at some point?
No, Eric Adams.
Eric Adams, who we mentioned. Not vegan, though. Just said. He eats fish.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think Cory Booker was on the podcast, but
health experiences,
senator, former presidential candidate. Whole Health Experience sent him the NMA podcast. Oh no, that's her. I thought she was still talking about Cory Booker, but no, it's her.
Mr. Jeffrey says, I think women have more empathy, speaking very broadly. It's possible. Yeah. I mean, I think so.
All right. So that'll be the big thing to uncover tomorrow.
We will. We will dig deep, do some investigative journalism, and come back with an answer. Maybe. Or forget about it and move on to something else. Which is more likely, honestly. All right. Anything else, Doug, today before we wrap this thing up?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks for everybody's patience this morning, as I had trouble getting on.
Yeah,
and we'll see you tomorrow.
A little bit of a rocky start, but appreciate it. And also, Rachel, is it Rachel? That was her name, right? Who came up earlier?
Yeah.
With Rooted, what's the name for business? Rooted something.
I'll have to go back and look, but it's in the comments here.
Yeah. Anyway, check it out, even though she doesn't like potatoes. And that's it. Okay. All right. Then we will end it there, and we'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. As always, if you're a podcast listener, you can always come join us live. And glad to see people doing that, participating. Lots of fun.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Then we will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Bye.